Have you ever looked into a mirror, and felt like the reflection wasn't really yours? What if the person you trusted, the one who sat across the fire from you, the one who listened, watched, smiled, wasn't a person at all? In tonight's story, deep in the frozen silence of the Arctic, a forest ranger named Eli discovers a mysterious woman wandering barefoot through the snow. She doesn't speak. She doesn't shiver. She doesn't blink. But she watches. And what begins as a quiet rescue slowly unfolds into something far more terrifying and far more human. What is Mara? Why does she cry without feeling? Why does music, something we barely think about, make her scream with recognition? This isn't a story about an alien invading our world. This is a story about something far worse, an alien beginning to feel, to break, to become one of us. By the end of the story, you might ask yourself, what does it truly mean to be human? And when the time comes to choose between survival and understanding, would we even want to be understood? Let's begin. In the far reaches of the Arctic North, where the wind never sleeps and the snow never forgets, a man named Eli tends to the forest, or what's left of it. A ranger by name, but a loner by heart, Eli moves through his days like the trees, tall, quiet, and slowly growing tired of time. It is during one of those long, black nights when the stars hang too low and too still that he sees her. She is walking alone, barefoot across the ice-crusted snow, naked, untouched by the wind, untouched by the cold. Her skin is pale as starlight, but it doesn't shiver. Her steps are soundless. And her eyes don't blink. They only reflect, not with fear, not with pain, but with the empty silence of something that watches, not lives. Eli doesn't speak. Neither does she. But something ancient tells him, this is not a woman lost in the cold. No tracks behind her. No signs of struggle. No breath fog in the air. He takes her into his cabin out of instinct, out of some buried sense of duty, or perhaps something deeper. She sits in the corner like a shadow come to life. Silent. Still. Unblinking. She doesn't ask for help. She doesn't ask for warmth. She simply watches him, as if she is learning. Not human. Not helpless. She came to understand. Not to be saved. Eli gives her old clothes from a box tucked beneath the floorboards. A faded sweater, heavy boots, a scarf worn from years of snowstorms. She wears them with care, but not like someone grateful. More like someone testing a disguise. He warms soup on the fire. Offers it gently, patiently. She takes the spoon. Brings it to her mouth. But doesn't eat. Instead, she stares at the rising steam as if it were alive. She watches the spoon's curve, the glint of light, the rhythm of his breathing. Not hunger. Observation. He gives her a name, Mara. She says nothing, but when he calls her that, her head tilts just slightly, like she's filed the word into some invisible library inside her mind. And Eli begins to notice things. She never blinks. Her movements are too smooth, like every motion is a calculation. When she smiles, it's always a second too late. When she laughs, there's no warmth behind it. And her eyes, they don't see him, they scan him. Like glass over skin. like a lens trying to understand blood and thought and fear. She speaks no language, yet communicates with presence alone. She is not inside the woman, she is wearing her. Her fingers trace the seams of her clothing, the pattern of wood grain, the lines on Eli's face. She is not a guest. She is a mirror. And something behind the mirror is awake. Each morning, before the sun dares to rise, Mara leaves the cabin. She does not tell Eli where she goes. She simply walks through the silver woods, into the frozen silence as if guided by something unseen. In the distance, the forests are not empty. There are loggers with rusted saws, hikers wrapped in neon jackets, and hunters who speak too loudly to silence the cold. Mara finds them. She appears from the trees like a dream, half-remembered soft steps, pale face, voice broken like glass. Her words come out disjointed, like she's still learning how they fit together. Where are you from? What does it feel like to be afraid? They don't understand. They laugh, or offer her warmth, or sometimes nothing at all. Then they vanish. No blood. No struggle. Just gone. Like fog burned away by invisible light. And soon, the nearby towns whisper again. Someone else has gone missing. Eli hears these rumors on the radio. Static and panic wrapped together. He doesn't ask Mara. He watches her instead. At night, she returns, quiet as ever. But something is different. When she steps through the doorway, the fire dims slightly, as if unsure how to warm her. And when Eli looks up at the stars, they seem wrong. Slightly off. Like someone rearranged them when no one was looking. One night, he notices a new star blinking above the cabin. Not twinkling. Blinking. In rhythm. As if signaling. Eli waits. Then one morning, when Mara leaves, he follows. She doesn't turn around. Doesn't pause. As if she already knows he's coming, and allows it. They walk deep into the woods, past places he's never seen. The snow becomes thin, the trees become tall and deathly still, like frozen sentinels. Finally, they reach it. A place the earth should not have a tear in the ground, hidden beneath roots and frost. A narrow opening in the ice, breathing cold air that smells like iron and rain. Mara steps inside. So does Eli. The path spirals downward, carved not by man, but by something exact. Smooth stone. No marks of tools. No signs of age. Just impossible silence. At the bottom is a chamber beneath the earth, no walls, no ceiling, only darkness that bends like liquid. Floating in the center, a black room. Not built. Not resting. Floating, as if untouched by gravity or time. Eli's breath turns shallow. Inside the room, not laying, not trapped, but suspended, is a man. One of the missing hikers. His eyes are open, but empty. His body hangs in the blackness, motionless, as if paused. His skin reflects no light. His presence makes no sound. Not dead. Not alive. And he is not alone. Shapes drift deeper in the dark, other bodies, other echoes suspended in the quiet like thoughts unspoken. each one still, preserved, filed away, like data, like samples. Eli steps back. His heartbeat is loud in the stillness. Mara stands beside the room, watching him calmly. She has not killed them. She has kept them. Not with cruelty but with purpose. As if we are artifacts. As if this world is a museum, and she, the collector. The cabin feels colder than usual. The fire burns, but the warmth does not touch the air. Eli stands near the doorway, silent, eyes fixed on Mara. Her back is to him, but she knows. She always knows. "What are you?" he asks. Not with anger, not with fear, but with a voice that trembles beneath the weight of not knowing. Mara turns slowly. Her face is calm, unblinking. But her eyes are not empty tonight, they are searching. "Do you feel love?" she asks. Not as a challenge, not as curiosity, but as if she is asking for something she cannot name. Then, without warning, she begins to cry. But the tears come strangely, as if her body is mimicking sorrow without fully understanding it. No heaving chest. No shaking shoulders. Just tears, flowing silently, unnaturally, down a face that is still learning to be real. Eli steps forward, unsure if she is breaking or becoming. And in that still moment, something unspoken shifts within her. A spark. A fracture. Not just observation now but reaction. Not study but feeling. Whatever she came here to learn, she has started to feel it. Small blue diamond 6. The mirror cracks. Mara no longer walks into the woods alone. She does not vanish at dawn. She does not return with invisible weight. She stays near Eli like a shadow learning to cast its own shape. She watches him chop wood, brew coffee, tend to the wounded bird on the windowsill. She watches not with coldness but with a quiet ache, as if every small human act is a puzzle she aches to solve. She watches pain when Eli winces from old scars. She watches kindness when he frees a fox caught in a trap. She watches fear in the eyes of townsfolk who look at her too long. And then, she hears music. One evening, while cleaning the attic, Eli finds an old cassette player. Dusty. Forgotten. He presses play. A soft melody escapes, slow, melancholic, rich with the ache of memory. A woman's voice hums a lullaby, fragile like frost on glass. Mara listens. At first, her head tilts. Then her fingers tremble. Then she screams. Not in terror. Not in pain. But in something far stranger, recognition. The sound opens a door inside her. Not a memory. Not a thought. But something older. Deeper. As if somewhere, across stars and time, she had heard this feeling before. The song ends. The room falls silent. But something inside her does not go quiet again. The mirror of her being, once smooth, once unbroken, has begun to fracture. And through the cracks, something human begins to emerge. The room is dim. A single candle flickers on the table, casting long shadows that shift like whispers across the walls. Mara stands before the mirror. She has looked into it many times before, studying the angles of her borrowed face, the programmed blink of her eyes, the way the lips curve when she mimics a smile. But tonight, something is different. Her gaze is not curious, not cold. It is searching, questioning. Slowly, she picks up a small blade from the shelf. With one smooth motion, she presses it to her forearm. The skin splits open without resistance. But there is no blood, no veins. Just a black, glistening substance beneath, thick, alive, pulsing like the surface of still water at night. It does not drip. It breathes. She does not flinch. Her eyes widen, not in pain, but in realization. "I'm not real," she whispers. The words fall from her lips like ash. She touches her cheek, as if unsure it still belongs to her. The face in the mirror, the one she has worn like a costume, now seems distant, disconnected. She is not breaking apart because something is being taken away. She is unraveling because something is growing inside, something that shouldn't be there. Humanity. Outside, the wind howls louder than usual, but it cannot hide the crunch of boots on snow. 3 men from the nearby village burst into the cabin, rough, drunk, their eyes wide with fear and anger. "She's not right," one growls. "You're hiding something," says another. "What the hell is she?" Eli tries to speak, to reason, but they do not want answers. They want control. They want to destroy what they don't understand. They surround Mara. She stands still, unmoved, eyes calm. They grab her arms, tear at her clothes. They strip away her silence, her dignity. But then, the fabric rips too far. And what lies beneath is not skin, not flesh. They see it smooth, black, unbroken. Alien. It glistens under the firelight, shifting like liquid shadow. One man gasps. Another stumbles back. The third drops the lantern. It shatters on the floor. Flames leap out like wild, angry tongues. The cabin catches fast. Wood hisses. Smoke swells. The men run, screaming into the storm. But Mara remains where she stands, her form exposed, flickering between the woman she wore and the shape she truly is. In the fire's glow, she is neither. She is something in between. Flames curl along the beams. Smoke thickens, swallowing the walls. Eli fights through the heat, coughing, eyes burning. He sees her standing in the center of the room, untouched, unafraid. "Mara," he cries out. She turns to him, slowly, as if moving through water. She steps forward, places one hand on his chest. Her touch is warm, not from the fire, but from something else, something felt. Then, with strength he didn't know she had, she pushes him back. He stumbles out into the snow. The door shuts behind him. He scrambles to his feet, ready to run back inside, but stops. Through the swirling smoke, he sees her change. The human skin bubbles, peels, falls away like wet paper. Beneath it, there is no muscle, no bone. Only darkness, smooth, rippling, always shifting. A form that does not belong to this world. Her eyes wide, black, endless meet his one last time. And then she turns, facing the fire. She does not scream. She does not move. She simply watches the flames rise, like she has accepted them, like this is how it was always meant to end. Inside her, there is no pain. Only noise. Thoughts that are not hers. Memories that were never lived. Eli's voice. His hands. His loneliness. His quiet acts of kindness. She did not come here to feel. But now, she cannot turn it off. Regret. Empathy. Longing. These things grow inside her like roots cracking stone. The fire is not punishment. It is release. Her form collapses in on itself, folding inward, breaking all known structure. The black surface fractures, and from it, a faint mist escapes lightless, but alive. It pulses once, then vanishes. Eli kneels in the snow. The cabin burns behind him, a tower of orange reaching into the sky. He cannot move. He cannot speak. And then, a sound soft, humming, metallic. He looks up. Above him, the clouds part. A formation of lights drifts silently across the sky, too precise to be stars, too quiet to be human. They hover. Just for a moment. Then, a whisper in his mind. Not heard, but felt. You gave me shape. You gave me pain. Now I understand what it means to leave. The lights blink out, one by one, until the sky is empty again. And in the snow beside him, where the fire's glow once reached, a mark remains. Burned into the ice, a circle with radiating lines, like breath frozen in time. Not a symbol of death, but a record. A memory. A message. She came to study us. She left, almost human. The fire is gone by morning. Only ash remains. Ash and memory. Eli walks alone through the snow, his steps slow, his breath clouding the air like ghosts. The forest is still. No birds. No wind. Just the endless white silence pressing in from all sides. And then, he looks up. Above him, the sky begins to shift, not in color, but in pattern. Lights. Too many to count. Moving in perfect silence. No sound. No trail. No engines. Only a slow, impossible dance like a language drawn in stars. They blink once. Twice. Then vanish. And for a moment, everything is still again. But inside Eli's mind, something stirs. Not a memory. Not a voice. Something implanted, soft and certain, as if whispered from across galaxies. You showed me what it means to feel. She had come to study. To dissect. To observe. But in the end, she left with something she didn't have before. Not data. Not samples. But humanity. Almost. She came to observe. She left transformed. Not with data. Not with samples. But with a mind infected by sorrow. By kindness. By love. The woman in the fire was never real. And yet somehow, she became more human than the men who feared her. So now we ask you. What did you feel when she whispered, "I'm not real"? What part of this story stayed with you the moment she shed her skin, or the moment she recognized music? And more importantly, what did she leave behind in him? Leave your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done if you were Eli? And if a voice whispered inside your mind from the stars, would you listen? In the next story, we'll explore a UFO sighting that led to a disappearance, and a return 20 years later, without a single second aged. Until then, keep watching the skies, and remember, some things come to understand us. Others come to become us.